her lawyers, they get to write a letter. It's called a demand letter, and they get to say, we are demanding the limits of your insurance policy.
Oh yeah,
that means
that'd have been crazy. Yeah.
And here's what's wild. If they read over it and they realize, based on these facts here, it would be reasonable to give that. If they don't give it to them, and let's say the policy is $30 million, but they go to trial and the jury gives her $250 million.
Correct.
They got to
pay 50. Yeah. And that discovery process and trial would have been
They
crazy.
got to pay the $250 million, and they got to pay the extra for all of his attorneys. If his attorneys alone cost $1 million, they got to pay that, even though it was only a $30 million policy. So basically, because of the facts and because it's now a corporate policy, Diddy don't have the right to settle anymore, and that's how it happened so fast.
Do you think that she got the full 30?
Oh, I know that she did.
You think it's full 30?
As an attorney, I believe so, because that's how it happens that fast.
Now, that was a video from last year where you had male escort Clayton Howard that was part of the freak-offs, right, in the Diddy case. Now, we covered this story extensively. We was all over. Everybody was covering the story during the Diddy trial, right? And, you know, we found out that Cassie was very complicit in getting her cheeks, just, you know, getting the brake pads knocked off her cheeks, right, by these black men. They was coming in there. And Clayton Howard was one of them. And he said that he received the STI from her. She got pregnant by him and aborted the baby. He didn't know until afterwards. She took the condom off. She provided the illicit stuff that he was taking to put in his body, right? And she was very complicit. The way that she was portrayed in the courtroom under testimony was hogwash. It was garbage. She also met up with him, right, to get her cheeks clapped, you know, when it wasn't with Diddy. So it was a whole lot to the story that go on with this. So she sued Diddy for $20 million. Right, and then got another $10 million, so she got like $30 million in all, right? He's sitting on the sideline saying, "Wait a minute, you suing Diddy for all this money when you was complicit? You was the one soliciting us, right? And you gave me an STD." So he's back talking now because Cassie has since fled the country. Bon voyage, she got the hell up out of here, right? She said, "I'm not giving you a dime, right? I'm not giving you nothing." She fled, so now he's talking like this.
Hello, I'm Clayton Howard. I am the plaintiff suing Diddy and Cassie on these freak-offs that happened all these years ago with the male escorts and all of this stupidness that you now see all over social media. So for the last couple of months, audience, I've been quiet. I'm a law student. I'm not a professional prostitute. I'm not a male escort. All of that is being constantly circulated by the media has something to do with something that occurred in my past over 10 years ago. However, people need things to watch too, especially people who don't like to read and who are ignorant. So you guys who are social media junkies tend to listen to what all of the lying idiots who are racist and biased put whatever before your face simply to try to create stories and narratives to push agendas that may be in the minds or in the overall goal of people who are utilizing these social media outlets. People, I believe Cassie and her legal team have created a dedicated campaign to try to discredit me, stalk me, harass me, whatever it might be. Cassie has filed a motion to dismiss. But audience, Cassie has not disputed any of my allegations. Her motion to dismiss attacks me on timeliness of the allegations, stating that, because it happened X amount of years ago, now it's too late to charge her or seek action against it.
Now, a lot of this stuff was old and it was past the statute of limitation, but this is the thing. She knew a lot of stuff about Diddy, right? So Diddy settled out right away, right? He settled out right away, but there's multiple reasons. We'll get into that later in this video, why he had to settle out, right? Because they sued his business too, right? But we'll get into that. But she knew a lot of stuff about Diddy where, to me, it was extortion, right? But this is the thing why I don't feel bad for Diddy. Diddy extorted most of his artists for the publishing, for everything. He took young black boys out of the ghetto and just took total advantage of those boys, man. Robbed them, right? Robbed them of everything. And then left them for dead, right? That's what he did to young black boys and artists, man. He has a lot of dirt, man. A lot of dirt on his, on his name, right? So what Cassie did to him, I don't feel sorry for him, right? But Cassie saw a weakness in the game and exploited it and got that bread, right? Because Cassie was complicit in everything, right? So this dude now, he's the freak off guy. He's saying, man, look, I need to get some of that money, man, because y'all took advantage of me. Y'all took advantage of me. But Diddy took advantage of a lot of people. And I always said Diddy wasn't guilty of this. Diddy was guilty of assault. What we saw on that video, what he did to her, he was guilty of, but she didn't press charges then. The hotel didn't press charges. Nobody cared about it until Cassie said, all right, I got it now. I'm going to get him for this bread, right? And she made her move, right? So now you got this guy, Clayton, he doing this.
Her motion to dismiss tries to use a text message sent by me to her husband, trying to respect her marriage and not blow her up for the cum dumpster she actually is. Now, audience, I'm going to state something for a fact because Clayton Howard is no liar. I most certainly sent that text message to Alex Fine, and it wasn't because Cassandra Ventura is a truthful woman. It was because Alex Fine, being a man who simply was in love with a woman, he had no knowledge of the truth of what really happened with Cassie because he wasn't in those rooms. So out of respect for this guy, I didn't contact him and say, yo, your wife is a cum-catching, cum-dumpster, and a liar. I tried to contact him with a velvet glove, hoping that contacting him favorably would allow Cassandra to reach out to me to explain to me the things that I was hearing in the media. Because, audience, I knew she was lying from the beginning of when I first heard the media reports. Now, audience, you should know something that's really very valid, that the Wigdor law firm seemed to leave out of their arguing that I'm trying to go after Cassie's money. People, I was directed to the U.S. Attorney's Office by the Wigdor law firm. Wigdor sent me to the U.S. Attorney's Office because he knew that Clayton Howard was the guy and that I could verify everything Cassie said. What he was hoping on is that racism and bias in the use of domestic violence would make my voice and my allegations, I want to say, non-prosecutable. He was hoping that he would be able to work with the corruption of the U.S. Attorney's Office to protect Cassie, even though everyone knows at this point that Cassie is lying. So, people, what happened is the U.S. Attorney's Office leaned on the attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, and this is why myself and Edmund Laurent action was not filed against Cassie, because the U.S. Attorney's Office leaned on Tyrone Blackburn not to sue Cassie until after the Diddy trial, which made the allegations of the true victims of the Diddy freak-offs and the sex trafficking conspiracy of Cassie, Daphne Joy, and Sean Combs, which made those victims, how do I say this correctly, which denied those victims justice. The real victims, the men who were manipulated by Jane Doe, by Cassandra Ventura, the dozens of men who this happened to for years. Many people might want to say that the men aren't victims because the men were paid. People, you have prostituting women every day who say that the men who have been flying them around the country, sex traffic and abuse them, they go to court and they destroy these men's lives. What's the difference with a man who's saying the same thing about a woman who actually testified during a criminal trial to do it? Audience, Cassie admitted to sex trafficking me. Cassie admitted to lying on me. Cassie admitted to creating an environment that was completely deceptive of the truth of the narrative that what was going on, at least to me. People, by all legal terminology, that's coercion. If she wasn't willing to tell me who she really was and what was going on, people, she was lying to me. She hid her identity for multiple years for the sole purpose of lying to me and convincing me that herself and Sean Combs were husband and wife.
Now, this is why I tell y'all guys, man, do not follow these entertainers and athletes, because this is the stuff that come with it. This thing is wild, man. It's wild. Now, this is the thing. He has a point. Women do this all the time, right? So he's just saying, hey, he was taken advantage of. He's playing in the same playbook. But I'm telling you, man, listen, get you a wife or a husband, man. Get out the way. Do not partake in this kind of lifestyle, because this is the stuff that come with it, right? This is the stuff that come with it. And for me, I'm entertained. I'm just watching this, eating my popcorn like, man, this whole thing is crazy, right? Man, listen, but again, she was complicit. Puffy was complicit. But Puffy was a dirty guy, man. He was a piece of crap man, right? And you know what's the sad part is when you look at this? Puffy's in prison. Suge Knight is in prison. I remember these was two black men that ran the two biggest record labels in America, man, from the east to the west. So many people died in connection with those labels. Both of these black men are in prison. It's a sad thing, man. It's a sad thing. But Clayton, he wasn't finished accusing her.
Explain to the people why you suing Cassie.
Well, I'm suing Cassie because once I became aware of how vast what she was doing was, and I was able to connect the fact that I probably caught chlamydia because she was sleeping with dozens of men lying to me. and I learned a lot more about the law. I realized that for years she manipulated me by promising me money I never got, and basically just overselling a situation that she knew because I was in a desirable financial position that I would go for. So what I'm suing her for is I'm suing her for the actual RICO that the government messed up on as the male victim that she sex trafficked. Because as you might know, it takes 2 predicate offenses in order to be guilty of a RICO, which is a commercial sex act and transporting someone over the state lines for the purpose of prostitution, which the trial totally revealed that she did. She testified to the fact that she personally sex trafficked me. At least it's over to the fact where now I can finally go and obtain some justice in civil court. They acknowledge my victimhood. Let's hope Cassie doesn't keep playing the game trying to deny what she actually did. And let's just hope they end this so everybody can go on with their life.
Now, there was an attorney that broke down why P. Diddy had to settle out so fast. And she thoroughly explained this because everybody was wondering, like, man, he settled out the next day. Now, we knew that he saw this coming. He had to see this coming, right? But she gave a thorough explanation as to what Cassie lawyers did, what they went after, and why Diddy, even if he didn't want to, why he was forced to have to settle.
This is fascinating to me. So that one was settled so quickly, I believe, because her attorneys were really brilliant. They didn't sue just Diddy. They sued his corporations.
They sure did.
And they sued his corporations and sued in her capacity as an employee. When you do that, it triggers commercial liability insurance.
Yeah.
And it triggers another policy called directors and officers. Okay. And we know he's a director of these companies as the CEO. So now you got 2 policies. What happens then is it takes away Puffy's ability to settle. It's not his choice no more.
So it's no longer personal accountability. It's his organization.
It's his organization. And it's no different than like if you hit somebody with your car. Mm-hmm. Let's say you have State Farm. State Farm gets to decide to settle, not you. You could say, I didn't run the stop sign. That's not true. They're lying. If State Farm says, we don't care, we did our investigation, we're settling, that's it. That's what happened here. So because they added those claims, the corporate insurance carrier got to say, read over it and say, oh, hell no, we giving her the money. Because if they don't, right? So also her lawyers, they get to write a letter, it's called a demand letter, and they get to say, we are demanding the limits of your insurance policy.
Oh, yeah,
that means
that'd have been crazy. Yeah.
And here's what's wild. If they read over it and they realize, based on these facts here, it would be reasonable to give that. If they don't give it to them, and let's say the policy is $30 million, but they go to trial and the jury gives her $250 million.
Correct.
They got to pay
50. Yeah. And that discovery process and trial would have been
They got to
crazy.
pay the $250 million, and they got to pay the extra for all of his attorneys. If his attorneys alone cost $1 million, they got to pay that, even though it was only a $30 million policy. So basically, because of the facts and because it's now a corporate policy, Diddy don't have the right to settle anymore, and that's how it happened so fast.
Do you think that she got the full 30?
Oh, I know that she did.
You think it's full 30?
As an attorney, I believe so, because that's how it happens that fast, is because when you give them the policy cap, there's nothing to argue about anymore.
Wow.
Right?
No, you're right.
I didn't know it was that deep.
It is. That's the only time it goes that fast, is you take away what is there to argue about. And what's even crazier is the other reason because it went that fast, she didn't have to sign no confidentiality.
Agreed. And that's what's crazy to me. She could still write that book.
She gonna write that book.
Man.
So this whole story is funny to me, but Cassie left. She left the country. She said, I'm not giving up no money, man. And I like the way this lawyer broke this down. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think, man. What's y'all opinion when it comes to this, man? If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till next time, peace.